I thought you guys had a pretty good discussion on external form today, or Monday. I'm recording this on Monday, although it's not going to post until Wednesday. I did want to talk about the Dylan Thomas poem, Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night, for a little bit. It's a very well-known poem, and it is in the form of a villanelle, which is a form of poetry that uses a particular repetition scheme, repetition pattern, which you probably recognized there. The first and third lines of the first stanza repeat throughout the poem in a particular way, and that's something that you're going to need to know down the road. It'll come up again. Other forms are haikus and limericks that it talks about in the book. You can look up examples of those online if you want to. I think you're all pretty familiar with haikus. And if you're not, we can talk about it when we get back, if we ever do get back. The Natasha Trethewey poem, Myth, I think is very interesting because of the way that it starts with a particular set of lines that then reverses itself as you get halfway through the poem. And so it's got this kind of mirror image. And I didn't really see anybody talk about that in their comments on the chapter. But if you read through it, you realize that the first three stanzas, or the second three stanzas, are a reverse reflection of the first three stanzas, which is a very interesting way of writing a poem. And I wonder what you guys think about what the effect of that is on the meaning of the poem. Sestina is also a very interesting and intricate form of poem that uses a particular type of repetition. You can see that the last words of each line repeat in a different order through each stanza. And so I also wonder if you had any thoughts about what that particular form does to the meaning of the poem, or how do you interpret the poem. A lot of the times sestinas are poems that express anger or frustration at something, and the repetition tends to emphasize that thing that the poet or speaker is angry or frustrated about. The Chiara Shuttleworth sestina, I think, is probably easier to see that frustration that's going on with the words that are repeated being you used me well, or you used to love me well. But the way that the word used repeats throughout the poem has significance, as I think Charity and some other people might have pointed out. The E.E. Cummings poem, I don't know if you noticed that if you read it, if you put all the letters in order, it basically says a leaf falls, loneliness. Very simple poem with 3 words, but the poem gets its power from its being in the shape of a number 1, or maybe you think of it as an L for loneliness, or maybe you think of it as a tree with the leaves falling off of it. It kind of works in any of those interpretations. Buffalo Bills, the other E.E. Cummings poem, is a little tougher. I didn't see anybody talk about that one. But one thing that's significant about it is how the words run together in a way that gives it certain speech patterns, right? Buffalo Bills, defunct, who used to ride a water-smooth silver stallion and break 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pigeons just like that. Jesus, he was a handsome man. And what I want to know is, how do you like your blue-eyed boy, Mr. Death? Easter wings, you can see, is in the shape of kind of angel wings. And I don't think I assigned you the special section on sonnets, although it wouldn't hurt for you to kind of look through that and see some of these particularly famous sonnets, especially the ones by Shakespeare and Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Those are good poems to be familiar with before the AP test because they're just very well-known poems that tend to come up on things like that. And that's it. On Wednesday, the only thing that you're working on is your essay, and then you're going to have some practice essays for the AP test on Thursday and Friday of this week. So you have that to look forward to. Anyway, that's my lecture for today, and if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email or a Google Hangout chat.